Vishnu sir, can we start?
Yeah. We are ready to start whenever you think.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Respected speaker of today's webinar, dignitaries and delegates of today's session. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to everyone. Today, we have gathered virtually for the webinar on Opportunities in Industry 4.0, hosted by Department of BCA KLE Society's Degree College, Nagarbhavi. Before proceeding further, I would like to share a few words about KLE Society and our department. Karnataka Lingayat Education Society, started in 1916, occupies a very special niche in the field of education, has now
large
institution
for 40-45 minutes. Is that okay?
Large institution that encompasses an autonomous university and over 270 institutions spread across the country, and outside with over 16,000 employees working to cater the needs of more than 125,000 students. The collaborations with universities in the US, UK, and Malaysia have added a whole new dimension to the KLE societies, making it on par with the reputed educational institutions worldwide. The Department of Bachelor of Computer Applications was started at KLE Society's Degree College, Nagarbhavi in 2017 with the mission to provide a high quality computer education to the students. The institution groomed its students to excel as future ITians. We have plenty of learning opportunities for our students. We are associated with ICT Academy, UiPath, Oracle, Palo Alto, AWS Academy, Micro Focus, and Salesforce. Today we are hosting our fourth webinar of Cloud Arena Webinar Series 3. The speaker of today's webinar is Mr. Tandava V. Krishna Popuri. Mr. Thandava V. Krishna Popuri sir is the Director, Software Engineering Firmware Group at Dell EMC India R&D. Thandava holds his Master of Engineering from BITS Pilani and has 20 plus years of industry's experience in hardware or software spread across embedded systems, enterprise, server, and storage. His work experience has spanned across India and US, global MNCs, and startup companies like Intel, American, Megatrends, Appleton, etc. His current passion is to bridge the industries, academia, as well as to explore how the students community can leverage open source for their learnings, as well as for contribution to get the industry exposure. Currently, the steering committee leader for the Dell India R&D University Leadership Program. Now I request Mr. Thandava sir to present his talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Krupa. It's a great honor, and I'm privileged to be with you guys talking and giving this session today. Before I go further into this, I would like to keep it interactive. This is one of those things I'm also trying to learn. Mostly I used to do these sessions live, where I'll be in the room and all of you will be in the room, and we will be having interactions where I'll be asking questions, we'll be responding. I know it's very difficult for all of you also to keep your focus and stay focused for sessions like these. So I will request all of you to keep it interactive. Ma'am, I think the chat window is open where they can also respond back, or they can unmute themselves and respond back if we have any questions, or if we ask questions and we want them to respond. Is that fine, ma'am? Krupa, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It's fine.
Yeah. So I know this is day 4 of the sessions that you guys are going through. Before I go further into, because all of us must be talking about similar stuff and similar technologies. Before we go further, I would like to know how many of you are in your final year who are going to get placed in this year. A rough estimate or rough number, maybe 30, 40, or mostly in first year or second year, that can help me to fine tune my discussion or the interaction today. Ma'am, is there a way you can just do a poll and get that? No.
Yes, sir.
I think in Zoom there is an option called poll. Maybe you can just poll how many of them are first year, how many of them are second year, and how many of them are third year. So that whatever we are going to have the discussions today, I want it to be relevant for them.
Okay, sir. 1 second, sir.
So while ma'am is going and initiating that poll in this Zoom, I would like to talk about, I know some of you who might have joined the college right now this year who are in their first year, because I'm seeing all the responses on the chat saying that we are in the first year. You must be wondering, hey, suddenly all these things happened, we joined. We are hearing about a lot of jobs not being there, or a lot of jobs are getting downsized. So what does this mean for me when I come out of the campus after 3 years? What does this mean? How is the job outlook? Probably that must be going on a lot of your minds. What this COVID has done, at least from electronics or IT and ITES industries, is whatever the companies were planning for the last 5 to 10 years to digitize, to do the digital transformation, has been happened in these couple of months. When we went into the lockdown, most of the companies, what they planned for the next 5 years and what they were aspiring to get in the last 5 years, all those happened in this couple of months. What does this mean? Suddenly all the schools, the classes become remote. Most of the employees, wherever it's possible, if we are in IT industry, software, or some of those things that can be done remote, or even in the support industry where people are trying to take the customer calls and trying to respond, all those things have been become remote. How does those things become remote? Basically, all the companies have done their digital transformation. They have accelerated a lot of digital transformation. Now, what does that mean? If I have a shop offline, or which is basically where physically people are coming, now most of them are trying to go to the door deliveries and trying to accelerate and get onto a digital platform or any other platform through somebody can remotely order stuff and deliver things, or remotely somebody of their employees can contribute and all. But why is it important for all of you who have joined the campus this year? More and more jobs are getting created in this space, where a lot of companies are migrating. As we speak, there is a churn because everybody was used to work in certain way, and suddenly you will see a lull, and then all this industry will pick up. But what does this mean for you who just joined the college now as we speak? This is a great opportunity because you are getting into the industry at the time where the industry has a lot more needs. All those customers or all those companies which are migrated, or all those colleges which are migrated to online platforms, or all the schools, some of the banks. So all of them need a lot of these professionals who can bring value add and who can maintain all these systems. But what are the jobs? And the reason I'm asking how many of you are in your final year, how many of you in second year, and how many of you are in your first year. Basically, there is a timeline in which all these things will happen. Some of you who are in your final year or who just passed out, the ones who just passed out are going through the churn because suddenly every company is trying to relook at their finances, whether I have enough money to go and employ, and they're trying to relook at their stuff. So the folks who just came out are the ones who must be struggling to figure out this, but all these things will also settle down. But if you're in your final year, I would like you to focus on a couple of things where the industry is focusing. When everybody migrated from this current state to the digital transformation, one of the most prominent thing everybody is worried, from a small business to the biggest banks and the governments, is how do I ensure my data is secure? How do I ensure no one tries to come and meddle with my data or change the intended results? Uh, I don't know how many of you are paying attention.
Connect ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು.
Sorry. Oh, no issue. So I don't know how many of you are paying attention, even with this India having some trouble with on the border with China. There also the companies, even China is using a lot of these things of this technology. I will come and touch upon some of those. But when everybody is trying to get digitized and trying to get a lot of stuff, how do I ensure my data is secure? Lot of jobs from now till the next couple of years will be in the security domain. If you have interest, I will encourage highly from, I know most of you must be in your first year. By the time you come out, you should get some grasp and hold on this aspect if that is close to your heart. Don't go and choose where the jobs are, but you should also be able to connect and passionate about that, so that when you get an opportunity, you should be able to excel. All of us can do some job, correct? But if we are able to connect to that and we're very passionate with that, we will do wonders. So if you're interested in security, try to spend time from day one when you're in campus till the time you come out. You'll come with a lot of flying colors. And basically, there are a lot of things that are happening, even on security as we speak. Different layers, different levels. How do I ensure the data is intact? The data what intended to come from server is coming from server accurately. Nobody has meddled there. Nobody has spoofed in stuff. So when I transmit the data to the other side and till it get consumed, end-to-end security is one thing that's getting very prominent. And there are a lot of jobs. Every company is trying to ensure and hire security experts. More than 2 lakh jobs is what I read somewhere, but all these numbers will vary, but there are a lot of opportunities there. When all these companies are migrating from digital, okay, I'll stop here once. Are these relevant or these are all repetitive for you? If some of the other speakers who have already spoken to you about this, maybe I'll skip these portions and I will come to the portions what I think others might have not covered. So maybe you guys should be able to respond in the chat if you can respond. Is this relevant or this is already covered, sir? I don't want the repetitive stuff. Maybe we can go and focus on few other things. Okay. No, okay, not repeated. Okay, good. So this is one aspect I want us to focus while here. Even the folks who are trying to come out of the campus this year in your final year, you haven't lost much. But if you start now, by the time you come out of the campus, you'll be a lot more ready for this aspect. When companies suddenly went digitized, COVID has created a scenarios which were not there earlier, where we are almost more happy to have all those interactions with human. If I walk into a bank, I want somebody to respond. If I call a phone to a bank or to a customer service, I want somebody to respond. Now, one trend that's happening earlier is the chatbots. A lot of folks are trying to automate those, get these robotic process automations, RPA. If you want to Google after this, go and search for RPA. There are a lot of jobs that are there. What are these jobs in RPA or these chatbots, what we are talking? Every company in this COVID is trying to adopt. I would like to minimize the human interactions. I want to protect my employees. I want to protect my customers. So everything we want to automate. If I call a particular, even maybe in future, it can be implemented in your KLE society, colleges. If you call for certain query, maybe there is a bot that sits. What are you ask? It will respond. When are the exam scheduled? How much fee I need to pay? The reason I'm sharing all this is if you're trying to plan to do your final year projects, or if you intend to do some startups, think about some of these ideas and build your stuff around it, such that if you work on projects that are most relevant to your college and to the industry, the chances of you getting placed is pretty high. Basically, industry wants all these skilled people to come and help them. When we come and check, oh, have you got this expertise? Do you have exposure to this? Do you understand the basics of this? Is what the companies will come when they come and try to interact with you for placements. So what I'm saying, okay, how the companies are trying to transform. Can some of you pick a projects while you're in the campus to do a similar chatbot implementation or to do a similar robotic process automation and remove a lot of those manual stuff that happens in your campus? How does the exams get scheduled? Or how does when you query a professor or when you query somebody in your admin department, what things can be automated? Those. A lot of companies are migrating there. One, uh, currently every company is starving for cash, so they're trying to minimize the effort that they spent on these support staff. So they're trying to automate that. And everybody is trying to go digitized way and trying to get all that stuff done. So chatbot, this not only helps them to automate, but also it's more efficient for them. Always they can ensure that the results stay constant, like the customer experience will stay the way it's supposed to be. And there are no deviations based on different individuals. So there are a lot of job opportunities in this subject called robotic process automation, RPA we call. Take a note of it. Uh, okay, I'm not giving you a lot of insights into all these technologies. I expect you go to the Google or internet and figure out, start from day one to start from the basics concepts. And by the time you come out of the campus, you will go and add a lot more value add, which can help you to get your job. Or if you don't want a job, you want to start your own startup. Yeah, pick some of those problems that nobody else in the industry is thinking to solve in a way that we in India can solve the problems for our local population. Because all the West or all these MNCs will focus on the problems that are most relevant in the world and where there is money. If you are trying to work on some of these ideas for either IoT or what do you call these different other technologies, drones. Okay, maybe I'll come to some of those topics a little later, but focus on those things, a problem that's closer to your heart. If you're in your first year, note down at some place. By the time you come to your final year, you should also work on that problem to understand a little more and what the solution that you can bring to the table. And some of these problems that you can bring to the table may not be that you have to invent from scratch. You can leverage some other existing solution in a different domain and translate those ideas into your domain, and you can solve those things. Okay. So we touched upon RPA, we touched upon security. One other important aspect where every company is also trying to do is AML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Why it's very relevant for this group of students whom I'm talking today, my dear friends, the biggest portion in this artificial intelligence or machine learning is the data modeling. And the data modeling needs a lot of statistical stuff, statistical models, and all these mathematical models. You're the best people who can go and create those models compared to anybody else in the industry. Okay, while you're in the campus, try to put a lot more attention, and if you enjoy solving or creating mathematical equations or solving problems, mathematical problems, and take a lot more pride in creating those models or these equations, these are the right jobs for you, and you should go and explore these things. There are a lot of opportunities. Here also we are talking about jobs around uh, 3 to 5 lakh opportunities in this space. In the data scientists, they call these are data scientists. So maybe I'll stop here for 1 second to explain what are the different fields or areas where these data science is getting applied, or the AIML. I want you guys to type, thanks for all the folks who are responding on the chat. So give me one application of this AIML into our day-to-day life where we are using. I'm assuming some of you are in Bangalore or used to stay in Bangalore. So even if you're not in Bangalore, maybe tell me one day-to-day real life examples where these are getting used as we speak. Yeah, Google Assistant, yeah. Okay, before that, yes, Siri, Alexa. Yes, all these are the right examples. Yes, Tejas, you can share the poll. How many of the students are final year, first year, second year, so that I can fine tune, because I want today's discussion should be relevant to all. Yes. What are the results of the poll? Okay. So yeah, as we talked about, just 1 second, I was trying to look at these results. Uh, can you share the results? Like how many students approximately are final year, how many are first year and second year? Okay. Anyway, while we wait for it, yes, Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant, all these are some of those, or Google Maps, correct? And even if you go into all those e-commerce sites like Amazon, Flipkart, when you go and check what's your interest, which product you want to look at, and then you don't even complete that and you close that screen and you go to any other places after you log in back after a couple of days, those things will pop up. So all these things basically shows that how do they know like which thing are you interested in, whether you completed the purchase or not. So they're keeping track of all your data and they're doing a lot of processing of that data. And then they're also applying all these machine learning stuff. What are the chances that you might go and buy based on your previous pattern and all that stuff. So there is a lot of effort that are happening in that space. So that means basically companies are commercializing this. All these technologies, when it get commercialized, there are a lot more jobs that get provided in this space. I don't know how many of you are aware of Tesla car. It's basically an autonomous car that can drive itself. Now every company, every car company in the world is trying to go and do and adapt the technology into their, you take off Mercedes, Audi or BMW, everybody is trying to go and work on the technology, how they can make the cars drive themselves. If you see that there is a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning. If you think of those Tesla car, it's more like a computer or a server going on the road with a lot of IoT devices attached to it, a lot of sensors that will emit data, and based on that, somebody on a real time will go and process that and get all the data processed to make decisions in real time. What happens if that particular system does not have the connection with the main system or the data lake? Will I allow the car to go and crash because there is a delay and all? No. They will bring that model back into that car where they can real-time process, while that model gets learned in real time from the data lake data. So what I'm saying is, yes, there are a lot of applications. And if I think of the same car and I apply it on a tractor, because in India, we have thought process that, oh, all these cars can't come and be successful on our roads because somebody pops here, somebody comes from somewhere else. There are no rules for this car to follow. But if I apply the same technology, leverage the same and put it in a tractor, and I can make those tractors self-driving tractors, it will be in a big field where nobody will be there. I can leave the tractor in the night, and by the time as a farmer I come back in the morning, all my field will already plowed. So I will get it ready by the time I need. So these are the applications. Okay, there exists some technology, but if some of that is not relevant for particular industry, particular domain, we can take that and put it somewhere else. So this is another big opportunity. I don't have the data about those stats on how many jobs are there, but this is one area, these autonomous vehicles or autonomous stuff, there are a lot of opportunities in that space. If you're one person who can connect and get excited with a lot of these things, maybe this is the area you should choose to go and start building your expertise in that. I know a couple of days back, Manas sir spoke to you guys and he explained how you should take and build, other than these core skills, how do you build the domain skills and be ready when the industry comes. So one of those aspects I want you to focus is pick the area that's of your interest and then go build around it. Okay, so autonomous stuff is one thing we talk. Similarly, there is a lot of applications that are yet to come in the drone space. Uh, okay, if I have to talk about drone is nothing but an IoT device, at least from IT folks, correct? Uh, why do I say IoT? Anybody? Yeah, anybody wants to say why do we say IoT on drone? Okay, what is an IoT device? IoT device is nothing but when basically you have a lot of sensors and you emit data over the net and you try to take those and then you make different things. The drone, though it's a flying object, but it has a lot of sensors, and based on the sensors, based on the applications I create, this is one more IoT device, may not be static, maybe it can move and fly and all. I know in India, a lot of those applications were restricted, not for commercial, and we need license and all. Probably by the time some of you who are in your first year, when you come out of the campus, probably a lot of these things will also get opened up. We see in Western world where some of these drones are leveraged to deliver stuff. Even if government gives permission not for commercial like that, maybe we can build a lot of solutions around in the agriculture area, where the drones can monitor the crop, the drones can do the pesticide, the drones can do a lot of stuff. There are a lot of opportunities there. Maybe this is one area I would encourage you guys, if you are interested to this particular subject or topic, to take some time and then look into those and then get into some activity in that space. There are a lot of unexplored in the agri sector, particularly from drones. I know there are a lot of IoT devices to ensure that if the crop is getting, if the water is limited, when to switch on the water to the field, when to stop remotely, all that, or sense the moisture in the land, and then you can decide some of those things. There are a lot of devices that exist, but there are a lot more opportunity in that space. I know Microsoft and Google's are also trying to do research in this space, going back to the AIML. There are a lot of places in the world where the water is scarce, and as we move further, the water resources are diminishing, and we will be putting a lot more effort to conserve or preserve water. So the way we normally now take all the decisions in agriculture is, oh, this entire field of 1 acre or 10 acres, what the water we need, and we will go and put the water into the field, correct? Going forward, they want to see the area that are, what do you call those, thermal sensing of that area, to see which portion of the land needs more water, which portion of the land needs less water, and what are those drip irrigations you can control to see the moistures and all. There is a lot more applications that are possible in that. And if you're passionate, and if you come from an agriculture family, or you're passionate to give back to the farmers, this is another area I would encourage you to put. In this particular space, maybe jobs may not be that many, because companies may not make a lot of money like in the other commercial areas. But if you're passionate to make the lives of these folks a lot better, this is an area that the country needs, and I'm looking forward from all of you to go and see if you can contribute in that. So you can pick a project in this space. This is another opportunity. Okay. The next one in the same area of artificial intelligence or machine learning that's happening and that got accelerated now is, okay. Maybe before that, maybe I'll also give a small preview of the landscape of the jobs that got opened because of COVID. When I say this, what I meant is pre-COVID, when somebody needs to apply for a particular company or a particular job, people used to say, okay, if Dell, I'm from Dell, if Dell is hiring and this position is in Bangalore, the expectation is wherever, which part of the country are you in, if you need that job, you need to come to Bangalore and do that, correct? Now with all this remote work or all these tools in place, now going forward, a lot of those restrictions will reduce. More and more folks will say, you don't need to move. The companies will come to the place where the talent is available. What that means is, and this is not only specific for India, it can be across the globe. If there is a talented engineer who has the right skills for me, for my problem solving or what the areas I'm looking, the person can be in Russia or can be in Malaysia or can be in Africa or can be in US or can be in India. The company may not be in these locations. The company can be in US or China, wherever it is. They're going to come and open up those jobs. And you don't have to necessarily travel. Yeah, there are some visa legal restrictions, all those, they will figure out those by the time. But what it means is if you have the right talent, you can be in India and you can work for a company in US sitting in India. Correct? These are the opportunities that popped up. Similarly on education, you can be in India and study in one of the best universities in US, or somebody from other countries can also study in some of the best universities in India. Earlier, they're expected to come. With all of us getting online, all these things are opening up. But one constraint that comes when we are talking about the global stuff is, okay, India is fortunate to know English compared to a lot of other countries, so we have an edge. But when I have to work for a company in China or Russia or in Europe, I don't know that language. And I want to work with the team. So this is one area that's getting a lot more research and efforts as we speak in this Zoom era. Why I'm saying Zoom, yeah, all these collaboration tools are there, where if I'm communicating to you in my native language or no, local language, there are efforts that were happening earlier by Skype, Google, Microsoft and all, is basically to accelerate a lot of that stuff, to translate. Like, okay, my mother tongue is Telugu. When I try to communicate to you in Telugu, and each of you might have the same mother tongue or a different language or the different native language. Based on your preference and your setting, if I am communicating in Telugu, it will translate into the language of your choice. It can be English, it can be Hindi, it can be Marathi, it can be Kannada, it can be Tamil. And those will be translated in a way that however I'm communicating in the colloquial or the accent to all that stuff, it will try to preserve the same. This field is called natural language processing. And there is a lot more efforts happening in this space. And a lot of those things are happening in real time. I know Google's and others can go and translate all these maps into any language you want. But what I'm saying is what I say in real time, by the time you hear that, it gets converted into the language of your choice. And the opportunity for that is a lot of companies are interested to do that, because you can go and take care of that. Basically, by doing that, you'll open up a lot more opportunities. At the same time, the level playing field for all of you for the jobs will be not only restricted to or limited to India, it will be a global level playing field. Yeah, we might lose advantage of having English, because now if the technology comes, everybody can work with anyone. Yeah, they don't need Kannada to work with us in Bangalore. They can communicate in their Hebrew or whatever, those Russian or whatever that language, Italian, and we will be able to communicate, and that can solve a lot of stuff. So that's where another opportunity is. A lot of, I don't know, a lot of jobs are going to be there or not, but if you are interested and excited about this, definitely there are opportunities in this space which you should look at. I'll stop here. Any particular thing you guys want to ask before I go further? Anybody want any questions or have anything? Yeah, feel free to and make it interactive. I don't like this monotonous monologue from my side, but if there are no questions, maybe I saw the results where majority of you are in first year, probably only few are in third year and some are in second year. What does companies look? I know a lot of my friends talked about a lot of stuff, but what does companies look when they come and try to hire you? Anybody want to take a stab at it? And what skills? Yeah, thanks. But what skills? What are those skills that companies look for? Soft skills? Talent? Okay. What else? So, okay. Definitely, yeah, logical way of solving problems, communication skills, problem solving skills, skills except from syllabus or expect from syllabus. Anyway, theory and practical knowledge, decision making. Yeah, smart way of thinking. Awesome. So, okay, how do you communicate these in the interview? When somebody comes in half an hour, they come and talk to you. how do you communicate these to them? One is, okay, what I explained is on the technology aspects. Definitely you need to work on those. Choose the area that's closer to your heart and pick those and then work on those. Leadership skills. How do I demonstrate my leadership skills? How do I demonstrate my problem solving skills? My decision making? In that half an hour, you won't get a lot of time, correct? Max, probably that person might talk to you for 1 hour when you're coming out of campus. So how do you communicate or how do you demonstrate these skills to the companies when they come? Okay, so when we all, certificates is one thing, but certificate, some folks say, okay, you're pretty good in academia, but I don't know whether you can be fit into our stuff where you can work and all. Yeah. Yeah, as Mamata said, yeah, through the project, that's a great opportunity. When you pick the project that you pick should be able to help you to choose the area that you're interested, where you're trying to build a career. Don't go and pick the project based on what your friend said, what your teacher said, or what someone else, your uncle said and all. See the area that where you can connect. When you can connect, you can excel in that, and your project can demonstrate all these things that the companies are looking for. And some of you might be interested to work with a corporate to get the project. Some of you already have your idea, so you can become a startup stuff, or some of you might have an idea where you think you need some help. Maybe some of you who don't have this other support, go and look into the open source, opensource.org. They have a lot of stuff, open source projects that they're working on, and figure out the area of your interest, and you can pick that and then you can add to that. So all these projects, when you work on and when you come back in this half an hour, if somebody asks you, you should be able to clearly communicate. Because if you really put your effort in that and you acquire those skills and companies ask, you can easily confidently say things that companies will look, or including me, is the person has a right attitude. Oh, everything is going to fail or nothing is going to work, versus, hey, there is a hope, I can make it happen. Go getter attitude or a positive attitude. I can make things happen. When we talk about leadership skills, yes, I know a lot of other speakers also have covered. When you say, hey, we worked in a team, but everything is done by me, nobody else did. No. What that expectation is, okay, in this team, how the work has been done, what's your role, what others' role, as a team, how you're able to deliver things. Because in companies, alone, each of us, even how brilliant we are, we may not be able to solve and deliver that entire by ourselves. We need a team of people to come and work with us and to deliver things. And with this digitized world, where the digital transformation, where we're not next to each other, more and more, how do you collaborate using these tools that are there? How do you collaborate? How do you work the teamwork? All that is more important. Previously, we used to say, hey, are you able to work with the team? Are you able to communicate? All that. Now, this new complexity is, yeah, you may not be sitting next to them. How do you still able to communicate what's in your idea, and how do you transmit and communicate it across to your colleagues sitting any part of the world? That's an important skill that's getting more and more. That's what somebody said, communication. So communication is not about I telling you whatever I want, but it's basically I translating what's there here without hesitation, with confidence, communicating and making the other person understand the same thought I have here. That's what the intent of the communication. Okay. Problem solving skills are very important. What do we expect to learn in the college is basically how to, basically we are expected to learn the fundamentals while we are studying in the college, and also learn the problem solving techniques, because the technology that's there today may not be there for next 20 years. When we studied, the technology that's there to now is completely different. But when I went to BITS Pilani, what I studied there is the fundamentals. What the professors, the faculty, what they teach are the fundamentals, which are very critical. We might think, hey, why should I learn this? It doesn't have any sense and all. Those fundamentals will help us the base or the foundation for all these problems that we are going to solve. Learn the fundamentals, learn one technology and pick a domain. Later, if you need to adopt the same to other technologies, it's pretty easy. Once you know one technology, migrating from that to the other technology is very easy. But the fundamentals and the problem solving skills are very important, and you will keep that with you. when companies come and ask you about, hey, how did you solve these problems? They will sometimes in an interviews, they will give you the problems to solve and try to see. It's not the intent of whether you are able to solve the problem or not. What's your approach? How are you thinking? Or sometimes companies can ask you, tell from the past, what's the problem you faced and how did you went about solving stuff. Okay, so the problem solving skills does not have to be theoretical or technical. It can be anywhere. They will look at your approach to solve problems. That's another important aspect. Leadership skills. How do you demonstrate leadership skills in an interview? Any thoughts? So some of the leadership skills, I know these things I learned from BITS Pilani, not from my other colleges where I studied. Basically, they're tied up with Massachusetts Institutes of Technology. This is one difference that I have seen in US to India is basically there they empower everything for the students to make the decisions to the courses, like the how do they pick what subject, and they get their own calendar of stuff. Or how do you all come together to conduct a plug fest or a hackathon or anything, or some culture fest in the campus. So maybe these are some of those aspects as students you can demonstrate within your campus. Lead, not that the faculty will decide and they will organize, will participate. I would encourage all of you, if there are certain aspects like that in your campus, go and try to participate and lead and contribute. And those are the examples you will quote in your interviews. It can be in the sports or it can be here. Hey, these are the things, these are the extracurricular stuff I have done, and this is how I demonstrated, this is how I got the team, this is how we delivered. It can be in the plug fest, it can be hackathon, it can be something else that you have conducted in the college. That also helps you to gather teams, work with the teams. So if you all say that, hey, everything else are same between me and my other friends who are coming for interview, but this is one delta I did from them, which they didn't have, can make you stand out and make your chances of getting through is a lot higher. Okay, and the ability to learn. As I said, the fundamentals is what we will learn in the campus, but if you can demonstrate that, hey, today this is the technology, maybe I know a little bit, but I have the faster learning aptitude and ability, I can learn much faster. And you demonstrate, hey, this is what I learned in this period of 3 months or 6 months. When I entered, I didn't know about this domain, but in these last 3 years, because some of you are in first year, I'm trying to emphasize that. Okay, when I joined campus, I didn't know, but from then to now, in these 3 years, this is how much I learned. So I can demonstrate the same when you hire me. Even if I don't know this domain, I can easily learn. So those are the things that I will encourage you to go and practice while you're in the campus, so that when you come for the interviews, you can confidently say. Other thing is, you should be confident. Right now, when I'm asking these questions, only few of you are typing. All others are waiting or thinking, oh, maybe not sure whether what I say is right or wrong. Don't worry. It's okay to say. Don't worry about what others think. But at least you should be able to put what's there in your mind here or here into the chat window. Some of those things will get you that confidence, and that shows up in the way you speak. So these are the couple of things I will definitely expect you to focus on in addition to the technical skills. Okay, and that's the reason whatever I explained previously on different areas of the domains that exist in the industry, if you can choose the area that you want to potentially settle in, maybe pick that area, start taking that problem statement, even if you're in your first year, start writing down and see what are the different things you can do. By the time you come to your third year, when you have to pick your final year project, you will be very clear and you know all the different potential things that can happen, impact all that, and then you can come with your solutions. And that way your project will be a lot more successful. You will be confident after that, and you will be able to take it to the logical stuff. And when you appear for interviews for the companies in that domain, why do you think they will not take you on? Why do you think they will go and hire someone else? Because everyone in the industry is eagerly waiting for those skills, skilled force who can come and join us. If you demonstrate that with your projects, that yes, you have those skills and you have the potential, they are more than willing to go and take you. There are a lot of opportunities there. I know definitely if some of your seniors who just passed out, yeah, maybe they'll go through some churn, but things will ease out. and a lot more opportunities in this space is what I can see. Definitely a lot of companies are optimizing, increasing efficiencies, leveraging robotic process automation, leveraging AI, ML. They're trying to reduce the manpower that they need. But like that, the companies which are leveraging this technology has increased manyfold. So even if some companies are reducing, but the number of opportunities that are popping up in this space is a lot higher. 5G is another one that will pop up a lot more new applications, a lot more stuff that we haven't thought through. And there is a lot of industries getting geared up for the 5G, and every company is trying to invest in that space. And all these networking companies are booming even in this era of whatever the COVID lockdown and all. So there are a lot of jobs. If you're interested in this networking domain, that's another area that you can look at. Okay. Any questions, please type in the window. I would like to stop so that I can make it useful and try to answer some questions. So yes, thanks Mamata for asking that question, Mamata Patel. Can you tell us how to choose our interest? How do you choose? Normally, yeah, we were always told by somebody else to, okay, this might be good for you, go and pick. This might be good for you, go and pick. Or somebody will say, okay, there are a lot of jobs, there's a lot of money here, go and do this. No, I'm not telling you to pick those based on the job or the money that's there in it. No, don't do that. Because if you're passionate about the area, whatever you pick, money will automatically flow you. But if you go after money and it's not of your interest, I don't know, these ads were not coming nowadays. Earlier, there used to be a Naukri ad. The guy is a good cricketer, but he's washing the clothes or something like that. It's basically, if you're not able to connect to that, your heart is not there, you won't be able to deliver 150% of your capability. Because if I don't like what I'm doing, I will reduce it to 50%, 60%, and probably I may not be delivering it to the potential stuff. What I will ask you to choose is basically all these domains, what I talk, you go through that. Some of those, when you're reading, you feel connected from your heart. You feel excited. Hey, what happens here? How do I change? How do I do? Maybe the subject or the area that makes you get that little more excitement is the one probably you can go and do. By the way, if some of you are very much interested in sports, there are a lot of IoT based solutions that are coming. If I want to train the kids, or if I want to get somebody like Kohli, all these IoT small devices will be attached to your gear, like your bat and all that stuff. How do you swing to, how you do all that? There are a lot of companies, startups in that space, and a lot of jobs are coming there. IoT is a technology, Internet of Things is a technology that didn't exist earlier, but it's popping up a lot of opportunities. So it's basically, if I'm a sports guy and I want to do this, maybe I would like to do that. Or maybe I'm a person coming from a farming background and I definitely want to go back and do something for that. That's what I'm saying. How do you choose is basically based on what's naturally in your heart or what's in your mind, where you want to make a difference. Go and pick those. It can be in the space to everything down on the earth. So the thing that makes you excited, the thing that connects you to here, where you can give your not 100%, but which will make you to feel like giving like 150%. Go and pick those. Not sure, Mamata, if I answered your question, but you're the right person to choose which is the area of your interest. Like basically you go through those. Some things we don't like. There are some subjects we hate, correct? Now, what you said and done, there are some subjects we love most. So look at those and figure out a pattern. If this is in the digital logic, or if this is in something else in mathematics, problem solving, or if it's related to some physics, chemical, or if it's related to an automotive industry. I don't know. Pick those areas which makes you, I know some of us will get excited when we read about cars, when we read about some vehicles or some of the spacecraft. So see the area where you can connect to and then go and pick that. Yeah, definitely don't go after money. If you go after the area of your passion, money will follow you. It can be a startup you will start and give a lot more jobs. And there are a lot of stories even now in India, start from Redbus to Flipkart to a lot of companies, Paytm to all others are very successful, and they go after something that they are passionate about. Definitely there will be some challenges, but obviously if it's so easy, everybody would have done it. the reason why some of you need to go and solve those or get there is basically, yeah, it's not that easy, it's challenging. And that's where some of the bright students who are here are expected to go and solve and pick those and solve those. And when you solve those, you will get the reward proportionately. Yeah, one thing definitely which I didn't touch upon when we talked about those things that the companies are looking, whether for company or for ourselves, when we are all in digital world, uh, when we are trying to study online, when we are doing all this work online, discipline is one thing. If not for companies, it will help us. We need to be disciplined enough, plan our stuff, what time to get, how do I focus, how do I balance, how do I motivate myself. Sometimes when we do things that doesn't give us that excitement, that energy, we go to our hobbies or passions, which can compensate. Yeah, nowadays all of you are doing all the studies remote. Sometimes you might miss those friends. Maybe you cannot go and meet them, but there might be one hobby that gives you that passion. Uh, Start doing those to offset the boredom so that you can come back. And discipline is one important stuff that I will encourage all of us to go and pick. Uh, Things to concentrate or have. Okay, this is Varsha who is asking, except academics in college, what are the things to concentrate or habits to develop, improve our skills or learning? Yeah, as I mentioned, think of things. Okay, while you're trying to come and do some things for your companies where you're trying to get hired, or your own company, what you're going to start. While you're in the college, in addition to these academics, you should also look at, hey, what things I can change in the college. If you personally ask me, hey, is the system where we are interacting, is the system where our marks are coming or whatever that stuff, is there anything that I can do and enhance with my knowledge or with the skills that I'm learning? What can I do different? Or can I gather all my friends and create a session where we all interact or clear our doubts or all that stuff? Okay. One thing I didn't touch upon is, if you're passionate about teaching others and also explaining and getting everyone, there are a lot of these companies like Byju's which are making a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunities. May not be Byju's, you can create your own Khan Academy, or you can create some other forum where all your friends can come, collaborate, discuss, and all get to the same page. So it depends. Just connecting back to Mamta's question of what is that area of my interest? Yeah, you are the right person to choose. Okay, if you get a lot more energy by helping your friends to learn, maybe that's another area. With this online education, there are a lot of opportunities that are popping, so maybe you can look through those. Okay, yeah, this is a nice question on how. Can you say how we should go interview for the company? Go to interview for the company. Okay. How many of you do homework? Probably in the school, maybe we don't do a lot of homework now. But if you're going for a company, what do we expect? Okay, if you are appearing for an interview for Dell, yeah. When we talk, everybody says, yes, yeah, I'm interested in the job in Dell, sir. Why Dell? Typically, people will ask, is it like Dell is another company just because you happen to talk to Dell and you're saying I'm interested in Dell or I'm interested in Google? How do you show you're interested in that company? Is basically you do your homework about the company. What is this company all about? Whichever is that company? What is this company all about? What are their main core areas of strength, or where are they trying to focus? You can go and search on Google and get their annual report or some stuff, or you can go to their webpage to see what they're passionate and talking about. The reason why this homework is very important is a lot of us think, oh, any company is same, so I'll go and say the same stuff. No, if you take this extra additional effort to go and look at that company, understand who are their competitors, what are the announcements that the company made in the last 6 months or 1 year, and what are their challenges that they're facing, and what the industry is saying about that company. And when you go and converse with that employer, whoever comes for the hiring in the campus interview, you can tell that, hey, I have did this study and I figured out this is what you guys are passionate about. And here is I'm so passionate about these things, and you see my project to these things, all these are connected there. And by the way, your results are fabulous in this last quarter. Or by the way, I understood you're struggling through these challenges, but you're still hiring, means You want some of us to come and help you in solving some of those challenges in our own way. Correct? If you can connect to that, the other person really thinks you're seriously interested in them, and the chances of you will go notch higher up. Make sense? Yeah. How do you differentiate yourself from your peers that you're serious about that company? Is how the homework you have done, and you, in those questions when they ask, you can add your answers, reflecting upon how they, based on my this thing I have studied or I understood, this is what you're going through and all. Why do you think that person will not choose you? Okay. I know we are on time, so I'll stop here. Any other questions? Any other thing? Yeah, I'm not here to give you any gyan. I'm just trying to share my experiences, my knowledge, what might be appropriate for you. Definitely technology, all of you are experts and you can go and learn. But I was sharing those different aspects and those different opportunities in the industry. When you talk to a lot of folks, everybody will say, oh, COVID is bad and it's impacted and all. But because everyone did the digital transformations, there are a lot more jobs as we speak. Can I guarantee the same after 5-10 years? I may not. But everybody is going through these digital transformation. There are a lot of opportunities lying there. It's in your hands whether you want to leverage that opportunity with your homework, prepare, come prepared, and leverage those with both hands, or you just want to leave it. Those opportunities won't wait for you if you don't come prepared for those. Correct? If not you, they will go and hire somebody else who has done the homework and will pick them. So it's in your hands on how you want to position and how you want to get ready for your future. With that thought, I would like to thank all of you for a very passionate and very communicative audience. And I really like the interactive session. And thanks for keeping it very lively. Thank you all the folks. A big round of applause for all the folks who chatted on the chat box with their valid questions, valid comments, inputs. So please take a moment to for a big round of applause for all the folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was wonderful and enlightening talk. Now we have come to the end of the session. On behalf of management, the institution, and the organizers, I thank speaker of today's webinar, Mr. Tandava Krishna, sir, for enthralling the audience with your talk. I'm thankful to Professor Vijay Kumar A.S., Principal, KLE Society's Degree College, successfully organizing the webinar. I thank faculty members of Department of BCA for helping to organize this webinar. The response we got for this webinar was overwhelming. It is your active participation, which motivates us to conduct more webinars. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all the participants for making this webinar a success. Thank you one and all. The feedback link will be shared in the chat box window. So I request participants to give your feedback. Tomorrow's webinars links will be shared in a group. I request all the participants to attend the tomorrow's webinars as well. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm dropping off.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.